Hi Genesis Sales Team, I'm back with another video series for you, and this week we are starting off a new series. The last series we talked about the power in prospecting and the different ways that you can master prospecting and different techniques. From the feedback that I've received and talking to some of you, negotiating was a hot topic and one that we wanted to explore more in depth. So let's dive into it. And over the next several videos and weeks, we will go into a full look into ways that you can become a master negotiator. I'm going to be using material from Jeb Blunt, author of a new book called Inked. So if you want to follow along, I would encourage you to look up that book called Inked, again by Jeb Blunt, if you wanted to take a deeper dive into what he has to say on the topic as well. I encourage you, like I did the last series, to share your thoughts about the videos, go over some talking points with me, either in an email format or in person, and discuss this amongst yourselves and your teams. We can always use a reminder on the basics or on different ways of improving. So let's jump into it. It's been said that all of life is a negotiation, and it's absolutely true in sales. Every author of every book on negotiating is quick to point out that in business and in life, everything is being negotiated. And that humans, we actually are negotiating naturally and at almost every single point of our daily lives. But despite this blinding fact and flash of the obvious, and an undeniable truth is that most salespeople are bad at negotiating. Why do you ask? Well, because they don't exhibit, number one, any emotional control, and two, any emotional discipline. Effective negotiating begins and ends with emotional discipline. When you get desperate, you get up close and personal with the law of need that we discussed in the first series of prospecting. The law of need, if you remember, talked about the more you need to close the deal, the more likely you are to give away the deal. And two, the more you need to close the deal, the less likely you are to close it. Effective prospecting and a full pipeline, as we talked about, instantly make you as a salesperson a better negotiator. An abundant pipeline gives you emotional control, assertive confidence, and the ability to negotiate without desperation written all over your face. How do I know that to be the case? Well, because neuroscience has proven it to be true. Sales negotiation begins and ends with emotion. Emotion comes first, and logic comes second. Therefore, we cannot separate emotions from negotiating. Instead, we have to be aware of the role that emotions play, both from our point as a seller and from the buyer's point in the heat of the moment that deal with both short and long-term outcomes. We have to master techniques for managing our own disruptive emotions so we can rise above them and influence the emotions and behaviors of other people. Think about what people are really negotiating for. It's not money, terms, conditions, or any logical things we typically think about. These things are important, don't get me wrong, but what people are really negotiating for, first and foremost, is for satisfaction and contentment. They want to feel significant and important, feel like they're good negotiators, feel the satisfaction of winning, save face, and protect their self-esteem. And we as sellers want the same things. So your challenge is to print off the attached document I have in the email, highlight the key takeaways and talking points you pull from this week's video. I want you to read them once a day and start off your day on the right negotiating foot. We'll use this as a springboard into our discussions in the coming weeks. I'll see you next week.